And I worry more about the future of all of us on the little ball with Trump. I do. I really do.
And I'm on the complete opposite side. Whatever happens here, we're going to feel it everywhere. And we're so glad Trump is in, because the amount of games that was played under Biden and Kamala, we're just so happy finally another person is in that's not imposing ridiculous ideas and policies to us.
Patrick Bet-David sat down with this woke political strategist, Ian Bremmer, and he absolutely set him straight on multiple different issues, mainly regarding the Donald Trump issue. This guy, Ian Bremmer, goes on the PBD podcast to tell Patrick Bet-David to his face that he did not vote for Donald Trump. And Patrick Bet-David just lays out every single reason why he is wrong for not voting for Donald Trump and not wanting Donald Trump to win the 2024 election. Let's get into this clip here where Patrick Bet-David shuts down this woke political strategist on the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel. Let's check it out.
Who is more likely to pardon his entire family?
Oh, yeah. At that point, you would have said
Trump or
Trump.
Biden? No, who would you have said?
I would have said Trump.
But who did?
It was Biden.
So think about what you just said. I asked you the last 18 months, they destroyed this guy's life.
Yeah.
And I said, do you think he's going to do the same? You said, we'll see. But when I ask you who you think is going to pardon his own family, he never pardoned his own family. And this guy pardons his own family.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's never happened before to see something like this.
Yeah.
Any pardons Fauci, any pardons Milley, any pardon.
I thought that was a huge mistake. Again,
but that's the part with that is as a something gives me. I'm not going to ask you who you voted for, but I have a feeling you didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah, I'm public. I didn't vote for Trump.
So you didn't vote for Trump, right?
Yeah.
But the question becomes, this is why I think the Democratic Party took the biggest black eye ever, because we were told this is the guy that's going to pardon himself and his own family, and he didn't.
Won't do it.
And we were told, Biden said, no man is above the law, and he pardoned his entire family. Do you know what happened to the Democratic credibility to me? Right here.
It got hurt.
Not hurt.
Completely.
This is not hurt. This is the first time in history. It's shattered.
Yes.
It's shattered, and it hurt a lot of the experts who were saying there, well, here's what's going to happen. 51 secret intelligence signed off that there's nothing in the laptop, and Russian collusion, Schiff, and all this. Credibility was shot.
I agree. I think that, again, I think the country is incredibly divided, and I think that what you are talking about is something that is very widely felt by, pretty much everyone that would consider voting for Trump. And I think everyone on the Democrat.
And you know what's really sad is that you would think that everybody feels that way. You would think that everybody could look at this like an objectively, point like Patrick Bet-David did and say, okay, Joe Biden and the Democrats, all these other people, they've been saying this for the longest time. I'll never do that. It's going to be Donald Trump that pardons his whole family. He's the Russian part of the family, collusion, all this other stuff that keeps sprawling about it, man. It's just like, okay, well, it's obviously all a lie. And you were actually the ones projecting this on the Trump. And, also you have the instances, and this is the part that should be the nail in the coffin before anything else happens outside of them trying to throw Donald Trump in jail for BS charges, outside of them, literally trying to take him out on live television. Outside of that, all you have to go back and look at the 2020 time, and you look at whenever all the Democrats, all the politicians, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, all of them are coming out and saying, do not take this jab. Do not take the Trump jab. I'll never take the Trump jab. It's not safe. They said it all. And then as soon as I take office, as soon as they take office, same job, they're all taking it. They're shilling it. They're taking it on live television. They're not letting you in a restaurant or on planes unless you also take it. So it went from like, do not take it, it's unsafe, to taking it on live television, forcing the entire country, or trying to force the entire country to take it, which ended up being pretty dangerous when we found out the truth of the matter. But, that should have just been the nail in the coffin, even if none of this other stuff happened, even if Biden never pardoned Fauci, if none of the other stuff happened, that should have been enough for the Democrats to say, you know what, I don't really trust these guys very much, but they still, after everything, trust these people and still want them to win. I don't know, man. Let's get back into it.
I would say they do it. This was necessary because look how bad Trump was going to be. That's what they'll say. That's what they'll say. Where is there space for someone to actually have a conversation that can engage with both sides, that can be balanced? And the fact is, it's a really hard thing to do. It's easier in other countries. It's a reality. It's uncomfortable, but I'm not prepared to say this is, all kumbaya on the Republican side.
Your life is better today under this guy than the Biden or.
Look, I mean, I
know you can't say
I spend most of my time,
Yeah.
thinking about the world. I spend most of my time thinking about the 8 billion people that are here. I understand that I'm American. I understand that, we care about Americans first and foremost. At the end of the day, as someone who was born here by stroke of luck, and I'm enormously appreciative about that. But do I consider that Americans matter fundamentally more than everybody else around the world? No, I kind of feel like we're all human beings on this little ball. And I really care about where the little ball is going. And
I believe you're being sincere.
I'm being completely sincere.
No, what I'm saying is we've never met. This is the first time we're talking. I believe you're being sincere.
And I worry more about the future of all of us on the little ball with Trump. I do. I really do.
And I'm on the complete opposite side of my level of optimism to people around the world. We ran election night, okay? Election night, we ran the #1 live stream worldwide on YouTube. That doesn't mean anything to you. I don't mean the numbers on what it is.
That's
but
pretty cool.
We're
That means something to
DC.
me.
No, what I'm saying to you is numbers-wise. What does that really mean? We're in D.C. We're talking to YouTube CEO and Google CEO. You know who they are. And how'd you guys run the biggest live? And what happened? We had 2,000 people on our hangar. You've seen the property. The hangar on the other side, right?
Yeah.
2,000 people are.
Which, by the way, I'm curious to see what you guys think, in the comments. Are you, maybe take the political bias out of it for a second. Do you feel more safe, like this guy said, what PBD said, like Ian Bremmer said, if we're just viewing the human race as human people on the earth, on this ball floating through space, do you feel more safe with Donald Trump running the country and running the world's most powerful military? Or do you feel more safe with Joe Biden running it? And I think it can be looked in two different ways. Like Donald Trump would, be more puff his chest out and say, we're the world superpower and you better obey us, not do anything stupid or else. Whereas Joe Biden's more like this kind of chilling in the background, letting Russia invade Ukraine, letting China invade Taiwan. And that stuff might happen, but he's really, he's not really going to retaliate. Therefore, there won't be any retaliation back. Whereas if somebody does cross Donald Trump, he's going to retaliate. He's expecting them to retaliate back. And that story of we don't know if it's true or not, it sounds like a very Trump thing to do, but it probably is true, where Donald Trump said that he'll turn Moscow into a crater. If that were to happen, Russia's going to retaliate. And it could be in a nuclear fashion, which could spell the end for us on this ball. So, I don't know. It's a lot of what will the knee-jerk reaction be and, assume Donald Trump would be the safer president. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to lie. With that being said, I think the short term is probably better under Donald Trump. I don't know where the future holds for us. And you'll probably get mad at me in the comments for saying this, but I would rather Donald Trump be the president, no doubt about it. But in terms of viewing the human race and our longevity and trying to survive as long as possible, to be alive, maybe not thrive, but be alive, not getting nuked, I don't know if Donald Trump's the best guy in the nuclear race to not end up in a war. Let me know what you think in the comments.
People were from all over the world. Guy flew 24 hours from Australia to come. I said, why are you here? He says, you may not know this. Whatever happens here, we're going to feel it everywhere. And we're so glad Trump is in because the amount of games that was played under Biden and Kamala, we're just so happy finally another person is in that's not imposing ridiculous ideas and policies to us. And so I'm in the
and I'm telling
mindset
you
of
the two countries that are closest to us, that know us best, that do the most business with us, that travel the most to our country, Mexico and Canada, overwhelmingly, these are people, it's not that they're scared of Trump, it's that they really think that things are going to be worse.
Trudeau goes and has dinner with him right after having...
Oh, that was horrible.
Trudeau goes and has dinner with him a week later, he resigns.
Don't ask me to defend Trudeau.
Well, you just did.
I didn't.
You said Canada.
What? I said Canada. I'm talking about Canadians.
Have you seen his what his rating is with his own people?
Have you seen how conservatives feel about Trump and Elon?
Well...
even worse.
I don't know about that.
That is absolutely true.
Listen, I know what Pierre said. Like I heard what Pierre said when he said, Canada will never be the 51st state, and he has to say that. Of course, he has to say something like that.
It's because everybody feels that way.
And no, but the point is, am I sitting there?
I don't know if I totally agree with this, but like Just like Russia has propaganda, just like the United States has propaganda, we're lied to in school about a lot of things going on. So does Canada, so does Mexico. People are all being propagated, in all these countries. But we talk to someone who's kind of more in touch with geopolitics and things that are happening now and in their own country outside of their own. Most of the people that I've talked to in Canada, honestly, wouldn't mind becoming the 51st state. But then there's also a huge population that doesn't. And that's where the trouble comes in. And everyone's been propagated to in their own way to be like, oh, the 51st state would be the worst possible thing. But then other people know it wouldn't, right? Like it would just mesh in. Our economies would merge there. And Patrick Bet-David just really backing that up. And let me know what you guys think about this. Patrick Bet-David shutting down this woke Ian Bremmer political strategist. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.